Well, hello everyone. I'm Sally Gibson, and I'm honoured to have been the chair of the Volcanic and Magmatic Studies Group for the last 3 years. As part of our constitution, the VMSG holds an annual general meeting at its winter conference. This is an opportunity to welcome new members to our community and also provide updates on VMSG matters. So on the agenda today, we have a brief look at who we are, the committee membership, matters that have arisen in 2020, the Treasurer's report, and finally, some events that we hope VMSG members will find interesting. So who are we? Well, we're one of 23 special interest groups in the Geological Society of London and one of the 8 Mineralogical Society special interest groups. And so we have a joint association status between these professional and learned societies. Our aim is to facilitate discussion in an inclusive environment amongst researchers with interests in volcanology, igneous petrology, geochemistry and allied fields. Our committee consists of 12 officers, each of whom have a dedicated role. We've worked really hard behind the scenes this year and have had regular Zoom coffee time meetings to organise VMSG committee discussion panels and also to establish how best to host this VMSG meeting. Each committee member serves for 3 years, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Mike, George, Sam and Jess for all of their time and efforts with VMSG activities, and we're very sad that you're leaving the committee. We've recently held elections for new committee members, and I'm delighted to announce the following new members. Jasmine Scarlett will join us as the Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Officer. Claire Harnett will be the Early Career Rep. Elliot Carter will be responsible for social media and communications, and Elsa Nailsmith will be the newsletter editor. We communicate with the VMSG community via our email list. We also have a website which contains a regular newsletter and VMSG related info. This attracted 4,700 visitors from 83 countries last year, with a considerable amount of time spent on the site. We also have an Instagram account and we regularly send out tweets. These are on relevant science news, conference information, bursaries, publications, job adverts, feedback polls and PhD projects. And these are regularly seen by 2,000 to 3,000 people. The PhD project list itself was seen almost 16,000 times. We also have a YouTube channel. This was just launched in August 2020, so please check this out and subscribe. And if you have any questions about this, please do contact us and let us know suggestions or ways that maybe we can improve this. At VMSG, we're committed to ensuring equality, diversity and inclusion. And something that's really important is to try and monitor this and see the progress that we've been making. So the approach that we've used is to follow the method that's been put forward by the Science Council and the Royal Academy of Engineering for organisations such as ours. This consists of 4 levels, essentially initiating, developing, engaging and evolving. And we initiated our framework with a code of conduct policy for meeting and events that was put forward in 2019. Then many of you may remember that at the end of the last conference in Plymouth in January 2020, we announced that we were holding a members survey. This has been really important. We want to find out who you are, who is part of our community and how best can we serve them. We generated a wealth of information and we published this in a document that's now available on Earth Archives. We've recently updated our conference guidelines and have been monitoring how closely these approach to those of the Science Council and the Royal Academy of Engineering. And we think we're currently in level 4, which is a so-called evolving stage. And what we really need to do now is to demonstrate that we have a diversity of speakers and that there have been clear cultural changes in our conferences and events. We've also recently published a report on equality, diversity and inclusion. The data for this is based on past conferences, and we acknowledge that this wasn't specifically collected for EDI purposes. And so this is why we're now asking you to complete a questionnaire when you register for our events with very specific questions, which will allow us to have a more complex data set of demographics and also be able to clearly measure sustainable change that's taking place within VMSG. As many of you will be aware, the VMSG now has a huge wealth of awards and bursaries that we give out each year. These are monitored by our awards officer, but we rely on you, the community, to submit nominations and apply for these bursaries. So here are some of the details of these. Henry Emelaus Fieldwork Award is a single grant of up to £1,000 which contributes towards fieldwork in the North Atlantic Igneous Province. This was awarded to Rachel Baxter in 2020, and the deadline for the 2021 round is going to be the 7th of February. The Thermo Fisher Scientific VMSG Award for 2022 will be awarded to an individual at any stage of their career who's made a substantial contribution to the UK VMSG community. We now have the call for nominations with an early June closing date, and there's more details about this on the VMSG website. In 2021, I'm delighted to say that this award was given to Ed Llewellyn of the University of Durham. The Williespinall Award is given to the lead author of an outstanding paper on applied volcanology that's been published within 3 years of the lead author completing their PhD. For 2021, this was awarded to Ailsa Nailsmith, and we're now opening the competition for the next round, and the deadline for this is early June 2021. This year we announced a new award. This is for an ECR who's given outstanding contributions to VMSG science and also the community. This has been kindly sponsored by Zeiss and has been awarded for the first time to Jamie Farquharson. So congratulations to Jamie. The VMSG committee recognises our need to undertake outreach and engagement. And so this year we created a new dedicated role, which I'm delighted to announce has been taken on by Jenny Barclay. We're probably somewhere between engaging and evolving in terms of this framework that's been put forward by the Science Council and the Royal Academy of Engineering. But Jenny's already made important steps with engaging with the VMSG community via a series of virtual panel discussions, and there's a great presentation that summarises findings from these on Friday afternoon. So please listen to this and also check out the virtual discussion panel video clips that we have on our YouTube channel. So what about the future? Well, we should and we can do more to address inequalities in our community. The diagram on the left is the one that was put forward by the Science Council and the Royal Academy of Engineering, and shows these different levels of attainment. When I looked at this, it reminded me of something that's probably a little bit closer to home for many of you, and that's how we perceive volcanic processes. So we have an initiation stage, which is melting in the mantle. We have development by aggregation of these melts. They engage probably in the crust, and it's only then that they start to evolve. And in terms of where VMSG is now, I think we've got to this stage where we're crystallising our ideas, but what we need is recharge from the VMSG community to really help in our efforts to push all of this forward. VMSG has also sponsored several events this year. We co-badged the Sulphur in the Earth System conference that was held at the Geological Society of London in November, and also the workshop on diffusion in minerals and melts that was organised by the MinSoc. If you'd like to host a future VMSG meeting, or you convening a smaller meeting and want sponsorship from VMSG, then please let us know. Also, if you've got a great idea for a VMSG field trip, please contact Pete Rowley. We're always looking for ideas in ways that we can get our community together. And finally, here are some details of upcoming VMSG events that you might be interested in. The MinSoc is holding a science communication workshop. This will be online and will be 5 weekly 1-hour sessions from the 22nd of January to the 19th of February. The EUG General Assembly has got its online conference at the end of April. There'll be the Cities on Volcanoes in Crete, which will hopefully take place in June. Goldschmidt 2021 is being held in Lyon in July. AGU is scheduled to be held in New Orleans in December. And then IAVC has now been rescheduled for 2022 in New Zealand. So we really hope that these will go ahead and give members of our community the opportunity to share their science. So that brings me to the end of the annual general meeting. So I'd like to thank everybody for listening and take this opportunity to wish everybody a very happy and healthy 2020.